welcome back to my channel. Today's video I feel is going to be quite a long one, quite a chatty one. I'm going to be doing my hair and makeup on camera for you all, and I just feel like I've got loads to talk about and I'm really in the mood to film today. I've been really excited to film, so I thought I'd make the most of it and just catch up with you all. I'm going to start with prepping my face ready for makeup because I've not really done my skincare this morning. I've done my cleanser, but I've not done anything else after that. In the mornings when I want a really quick skincare routine, all I do is take my Soap and Glory You Won't Believe Your Eyes eye roll on, which I squeeze a little bit out and then just apply underneath my eyes, and it's got a really nice, cool, soothing feel to it. There's like 3 balls on the end of it. And it just really helps to wake me up in the morning. I really like this. If there's any excess product, I just blend that in with my fingers. Next, I'm going to take my Vitamin E face mist by The Body Shop. I use quite a lot of face mist. There's nothing particularly special about this one, but I like it just to refresh my skin and add a little bit of moisture back in after I've cleansed. This is makeup that when I actually did this, I wore it in a vlog and a video I think previously, and quite a few people asked me if I would film the look. And that particular day when I put this makeup on, it was a day when I just felt like I wanted to put so much makeup on my face. So this is definitely not a natural makeup day. The next thing I'm going to take is my Embryolisse Lait Cream, which I got in France maybe a year ago now, and I've only just started using because I saw that Sam Chapman, she quite likes it as a moisturiser for under makeup. And so far so good. I feel like it's a really good one for sensitive skin and it's non-greasy. It does sit quite nicely under makeup, but I haven't used it that much yet to be able to really give a full review. So usually I like to leave my moisturiser to sink into my skin. So I'm going to move on to hair next, and I've gone back to using my Mark Hill curlers, you know, like the conical wand, rather than my straighteners, which I was using like every single day. So I'm just going to brush through my hair with this brush, which I haven't actually used in so long. I found it in a box when we moved in, and it is the Michael Mercier professional brush. I prefer my Tangle Teezer a lot more, but this one is the one that I've got to hand today. I feel like if you don't like the Tangle Teezer because you prefer a brush with a handle, then this is probably a good brush for you. And they come in like different colours for different textures of hair. So this one I think is for like quite thick hair, but then I know they do one for fine hair, they do one for even thicker hair. So they're definitely good brushes, but personally I just prefer my Tangle Teezer. This Mark Hill conical wand honestly changed the way that I'm using the viewfinder as a mirror, by the way, sorry, because I can't hold a mirror while I'm using both hands. I just literally grab sections of my hair randomly, grab the wand, place it on the top part of my hair here, and then just wrap the hair around it, being careful not to burn my fingers, and I just hold it on for a few seconds. But it's so easy. I say that I'm using the viewfinder to see what I'm doing, but I don't have my glasses on, and if I'm honest, I mean, I can see myself on the screen, but I can't really see what I'm doing. I really am desperate for going to the hairdressers. My roots are so bad at the moment, but I feel, you know, when you just don't feel like going and sitting in the hairdressers, and it's like an afternoon that you've lost, and I know it's worth it, but recently the last thing that I've wanted to do is go and sit in a hairdresser's for an afternoon. So I haven't made an appointment, but I'm gonna, I think maybe tomorrow. I just haven't got around to it yet, but I have found a picture. I'll try and insert it into this video if I remember. I found a picture on ASOS of one of the models. Her hair is like the colour that I really want mine, and I've decided now that I want to grow it long again because I really miss my long hair. I feel like it gave me so much confidence, and I really miss it, and I miss being able to do loads of things with it. I've really enjoyed having short hair, and it's been nice to try something different, and obviously I can't change it, so I don't regret it. But one of the main reasons why I did it was because Thomas really wanted me to cut it off. I think he just wanted a bit of a change, but I also, when I went on the Pixie Woo course, one of the days we did drag makeup and I wore a blue wig and it was short. And he saw that and he was like, you suit short hair, you need to get your hair cut short. And I put it off for so long, and then I was like, actually I kind of fancy it. When people in the news and things were all getting lobs and they were just everywhere, I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. But I just kind of want my long hair back now. I'm so bad with my hair though. I literally change my mind with it so often. I've had so many hairstyles, colours, lengths. I'm just going to push it back with a hair grip, which I know to some of you might feel like it defeats the object of what I've just done, but I don't like it to be too uniform. I like it to be quite loose curls, and I just find that me doing that and gripping it back and just getting it out of my face and just letting it kind of settle. So it's going to look a little bit crazy for the duration of this video, but at the end it will hopefully look okay. The primer that I'm using today is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Equalizer Primer. I just put this kind of in the areas where my makeup comes off the most, and just blend it out all over the face now that my moisturizer's had more time to settle in. So I'm going to start off with eyes, even though it does look a little bit crazy and not particularly the most attractive way of doing your makeup. It just means that I can clear up underneath my eyes without removing my foundation that I've applied. So I'm going to use a new product that I've not used before, and this is by Too Faced, and this is their Shadow Insurance Anti-Crease Eyeshadow Primer. The palette that I used on that particular day to create the kind of smoky brown, very neutral toned eyeshadow look was the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, and this has become one of my favourite eyeshadow palettes to use lately. I've literally been using it every single day. I'm going to start off by taking Salted Caramel, which is this very orangey toned brown, peachy tone, and I'm just going to take a little bit of that through the crease of the eye. So I'm just going a little bit above the crease, because this is going to be the shade that I'm going to use to blend out all of the other eyeshadows as kind of like a transition colour. So I just want it to go a little bit above the crease, because I've got another colour that I'm going to put in there. So when I'm applying the eyeshadow to the crease, I look down into my mirror, obviously keeping my eyes open, and then I also look straight ahead when I'm blending upwards so that I can see what it looks like with my eyes open. Then I'm going to take this shade here, which is this dark one called Semi Sweet, and I'm taking that on a flat brush, and I'm going to pack that onto the corner of my eyelid, almost in a V shape, and just on the very outer corner. And just taking it very like lowly against the lash line. But most of the colour should be concentrated on the outer corner. Then I'm going to take a brush by Sigma. This is just a blending brush. I'm just going to use that to blend that colour in, and I'm just going to keep applying the shadow and blending until I'm happy with what the colour looks like. My favourite thing about this eyeshadow palette is that it smells of chocolate, but it doesn't smell of chocolate in the way that the Bourjois chocolate bronzer smells. It really, really smells of chocolate. It's so nice. Every time I open it, I'm just like, oh. My mum actually asked me, she came around the other day and she was doing some painting, and she said to me, how come you've not done a video in ages where you do your makeup? And I was just like, well, I knew I hadn't, and I was conscious of the fact that I hadn't, but I feel like because I didn't have a lot of my stuff for a long time before we were obviously back in this house, it put me off filming. And then obviously when we've moved in, there's been so much to do, and I've been sorting everything out, and I've not really been applying makeup on a day-to-day basis, and I've just felt maybe a little bit uninspired, like I've not really even done it to myself, like never mind filming it. So I feel like the last few days I've been thinking about what, like I've been playing around more with makeup and different eye looks and stuff, and I've got so many ideas of different makeup looks that I want to film. So next I'm going to take this one down here, which is a darker shimmery eyeshadow. This one is like a brown, a deep brown, and it's called Hot Chocolate, and I'm just going to take that on the same brush and apply that to the outer corners just over where I've just applied that matte eyeshadow, just to give it some extra depth and sparkle, because as I said, I wanted to put all the makeup on my face the day that I did this makeup look. And I'm taking the same blending brush and just blending that all together. Just to define that crease area a little bit more, I'm going to take this shade here, which is another matte colour, and this is Semi-Sweet. And I'm taking that on a more tapered brush, just in the crease of my eye, just to kind of blend everything together and just add a little bit more definition. And I'm not going too far to the inner of my eye, I'm just kind of concentrating on the outer edges. So I'm just cleaning up underneath before I do the next step, just so that I look a little bit less scary. I like to pull out to a corner, if you can see, when I'm clearing up, because I feel like I like that quite straight line when I'm going to use wing liner, and that's what I'm using today, so it just helps me create my wings. So next I'm going to move on to foundation, and I'm going to take my facial mist that I used before and also my Real Technique sponge just to dampen that a little bit. The foundation that I'm going to use today is my Laura Mercier Silk Cream Oil Free Photo Edition foundation, and this I wear in the shade Cream Ivory. I've spoken about this a few times recently. It's not my favourite foundation, but it is completely highly raved about, like, by a lot of people. So I used this the other day when I was wearing this makeup, so I did not want to wear it today just because I don't particularly like it, because I feel like just because I don't like it doesn't mean it won't necessarily work for one of you, because obviously a lot of people do like it. I don't know whether it's the finish, because I got the oil-free one, but I feel like it really clings to areas of my skin where I don't want it to cling to. It's very, very full coverage, and it is it does give a really nice coverage. It's easy to blend. It's a nice foundation. It's just the finish of it after even just a short amount of time on my skin, and I don't have particularly dry skin. I have quite normal skin really, and it clings to areas like around my nose and in any fine lines that I've got like on my forehead and pores. It's just not the most flattering of foundations close up after a while, but obviously that doesn't mean that it won't work for one of you. So I thought I'd use it today because I think it's been quite a while since I've used it in a video, and let you see how it applies and what it looks like, so that you can make up your own mind. And obviously I would always advise getting a tester of any higher end foundation before you buy, because they are so expensive that you need to know what you're investing in before you buy it. Even when you think you've finished blending it in, carry on, because although I want a full coverage foundation, I still want it to look, I don't want it to look like I've just put a whole load of foundation on my face, if you know what I mean. Like, I want it to look blended in. As always, in my foundation, I'm going to leave it to settle in a little bit, sink into the skin and do what it wants to do before I go in with concealer or powder or any other face product. This won't be a surprise to a lot of you. I'm going to be using the Soap & Glory Archery brow pencil today. It's something that I just always go back to, and I just find that it works really well, lasts really nicely, and it's a really good colour. I use the colour Hot Chocolate, although I do think they need to come out with more shades in this range. Last night I didn't come to bed till quite late, and then I sat for ages. Thomas was already asleep, and I sat for ages thinking about like video ideas and blog post ideas. Sometimes I feel like if I try and force it, I can't think of anything, but last night, I don't know what happened, but I had so many ideas that I know, like, sometimes I'll think of ideas and they won't come to anything. It'll be rubbish, or months before I even get round to doing anything about it. But last night I was led there, and I didn't want to disturb Thomas, but I just thought I'm gonna have to write these down on my phone, because I don't want to wake up in the morning and forget that I've had these ideas. So I wrote quite a good list down on my phone last night, and I'm really, really excited. I feel like I've had some quite good ideas to create some quite good videos for you all, and ones that I'll enjoy filming as well. And some of them are going to be like not really makeup or beauty related, but more kind of like chatty videos. Because I really want to start doing different things on here. I'm just going to leave this brow here because I don't want it to go too crazy, and sometimes I find the more I mess with it, the bigger it gets. Now. I'm then going to set them in place with my NYX brow gel, or brow mascara as it says on the tin, and this is the shade Brunette. So now I'm taking another flat brush and I'm just going to wet this with that facial mist again. And I'm going to go back into my Too Faced eyeshadow palette and take this colour here, which is Marzipan. And I just find that wetting the brush helps this go on a lot more pigmented and really stands out against all those darker toned eyeshadows. And I'm just going to place that in the inner corner and the centre of my eye. Then I'm going to take my blending brush and just kind of very softly blend it together, because I don't want it to look obvious. I want it to look like it's a gradient rather than two separate lines. I feel like this, although this palette is gorgeous, and I would definitely recommend it if you're after a neutral palette that's got some nice different tones in it as well. It's got some greens in there and some purple shades. But I feel like you could achieve this makeup look with a lot of different eyeshadows that are available on the market. Like, you don't need to just use this palette just because I've used it, because they're quite generic shades that I'm using. Then I'm going to take a brow highlight brush, and the thing that I really like about this chocolate bar palette is that you get two quite big highlight shades. I'm going to use this one first, and this is the shade White Chocolate, and this is the matte shade, and I'm going to take that underneath my eyebrows. I quite like just a subtle brow lift. I don't like anything too shimmery, especially when there's quite a lot going on the eyelids. Now it's time for the scary bit. I'm going to use my L'Oreal Super Liner and try my best to create just a very thin line to make my lash line look a little bit thicker and fuller, and then a little flick at the end. But I'm no expert at this and I do struggle sometimes, so we'll see how it goes. So I usually take the brush on its side, or the pen on its side, to create the line. This is where I use two hands because I pull my skin taut. It's really hard to say that word without sounding really, really posh. Taut. Taut. And then I try my best to join them up. Next I'm going to use some concealer, and first I'm going to take the Tarte CC cream, and this is in the shade Light Medium, and I'm just going to take a little bit of that on my finger just to warm it up a little bit and take it just where I've got the most blueness or darkness under my eyes, just to correct that colour under there. Then I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Fit Me concealer, which I love. This is the shade 15, and I'm just going to take that around any areas that I get a little bit more redness or my foundation comes away from the quickest. I'm not using it to highlight or anything like that. I'm literally just using it where I put it. I don't know if you can see, but that foundation has already started settling into my forehead lines. It's just not my favourite. And then again underneath my eyes I'm going to use the Bourjois Radiance Reveal Concealer, and this is supposed to correct, illuminate and give 24-hour hydration. So far this hasn't been my favourite concealer I've ever used. It is really creamy, as you can see. It goes on really nicely. It's not too much coverage. I think that's my main issue with it, but it does highlight. And I know that 3 concealers on one face is quite excessive, but as I said, I was going for a lot of makeup that day. I'm then going to set my makeup using the MUA Matte Perfect loose powder in the shade Translucent, because I don't want any more coverage. I don't want it to look, my skin to look really cakey, but I do want it to stay in place all day. So obviously this is a loose powder, so I just take a little bit on my brush. I'm using the Real Techniques 300 brush, and then I'm just going to swirl it into the lid so that I get rid of any excess. And I'm just going to take that on the places where I need to set either concealer or where my foundation comes away from. So I'm taking it underneath my eye. This is their blush. I think it's meant for blush. Obviously you can use brushes however you want them, but I find I just find my blush goes a little bit patchy when I use this for blusher, so I've really been enjoying using it for powder recently and also for highlight. Now I'm going to go back into eyes. I think I'm going to take this one up here, which I think was Milk Chocolate, which is that medium brown, and I'm taking that on a little smudger brush just underneath my lower lash line. I'm going to go in with that dark shimmery brown and just take that on the outer corners just to smoke it up a little bit, and this I'm just using a pencil brush to do this. On that same brush I'm going to take the Sweet Almond, I think it is, the first shade, and just take that very gently underneath the lash line to kind of soften it a little bit and just blend those colours together. So this is the part where I'd usually curl my eyelashes. I don't know where my curlers are, so I'm using the Maybelline The Falsies Push Up Drama Mascara, just a touch on my upper lashes because I'm going to put some falsies on. Now time for the eyelashes. These are ones that I've worn before and I'm actually going to put them on again today because I'm testing them out for a blog post. These are Eyelure, the new ones, and they're the ones that are pre-glued. I'm just going to place that. I did trim them when I first wore them slightly. The bronzer that I'm using today is a one from the Balm, and it is Balm Desert Bronzer, and this was a little mini that I got in my Birchbox, and look how tiny this is, and look how even tinier the sample is that you get inside. It's ridiculous. It's so hard to actually get a brush in there and make it work, but we're going to anyway. So I'm going to grab my Real Techniques blush brush and just contour a little bit and also bronze up my face quite a lot. Next on the cheeks I'm taking MAC Buff Blush, and I've got my favourite Zoeva sheer cheek brush to apply that. This is just a very neutral colour because there's so much going on everywhere else. And there's no shimmer in this. And then for highlight, I'm going to take this setting brush from Real Techniques, and I'm taking the shimmery shade in the eyeshadow palette, which is Champagne Truffle, and I'm just going to take that, oh my god, this palette smells so nice. I'm just going to take that on the top of my cheekbones and up a little bit here. It's quite a soft highlight, it's very subtle because obviously you could wear it as eyeshadow as well. I really like it for when I don't want anything too wham bam. And then a little bit on the Cupid's bow. Lips, I'm taking the combination L'Oreal lip liner in Beige Nude. I think it's 630. It's just a very neutral soft pink. Now that I've got the shape, I'm going to take my Kate Moss Rimmel lipstick in the shade 45. I really hope that you like the finished look and that it's something that you might want to try yourself. As I said, this is definitely a full makeup look for those days maybe where you're going out or you want to look properly put together. So hopefully you enjoyed getting ready with me today. I will leave all the products that I used in the description box below, and I hope you're having a lovely day. I will see you all very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.